Stephanie, and today I wanted to do my book haul. My local library had a sale a few days ago, and of course I got there early. I loaded up on some books, and I'm really excited to show you guys. So the first book I picked up, I was really excited about because a while ago, like when I first started my channel, I did a video called my Bookish Boxes video. I'll link that down below, where I talked about basically like my bookish buzzwords, things that will, when people are describing a book, certain words that will intrigue me, basically convince me that I need to read this book. And one of those was that I love books set in the South. Then I came across a bookish listicle, as you do. It was like quintessential literature about the South. And so of course the complete stories of Flannery OConnor were on there. And ever since then, I have been really wanting to read them. So of course I was really excited to find this book. It is absolutely gorgeous. It is in great condition and it's really big. So I haven't decided whether I'm going to like trudge straight through this or whether I'm going to do like I did with Books of Blood, just kind of read a story here, put it down for a bit, read a story there, put it down. Like I said, I'm really excited to get into this. The next book that I got is also a collection of short stories, and I remember this was always on Stripped Cover Lit's channel, so this is George Saunders' The 10th of December, so I really want to read this, and this looks significantly shorter than Flannery O'Connor's complete stories, so this might be something I might be able to, dedicate some time to and read through. And I'm really excited. I have heard nothing but good things about this. Also at this sale, I was able to pick up an author that I've been meaning to get into, but just haven't gotten around to. So I got 2 books by her. But the first book I got was one I haven't heard anything about, really. It's really short. It's Margaret Atwood's The Penelopiad. And this is the Odyssey, but retold from Penelope's point of view. So, in the Odyssey, like Odysseus is making his way home to his wife Penelope. So this is basically her side of the story, what her life was like when her husband was gone and making his way home, and what she was up to, and what happened to her maids, and why they were hanged, and hopefully getting some answers to that. So I'm really interested to read this. This is also another short one. Also like the back, I think those are supposed to be like the maids that were hanged, so really interested to get into this and see how this one turns out. The next book I bought was The Lowland by Jhumpa Lahiri. I've never read anything by her, and I think her other novels are probably her more well-known works, like The Interpreter of Maladies and The Namesake. But I'm going to do some research and see if this is a good place to start with her, and if not, I'll start with maybe The Namesake and then come back to this. But I do really want to read some Jhumpa Lahiri, so I'm hoping to get to this soon. The next book I bought, I am not sure how to classify, so if you've read this, if you could let me know where you would classify this, I think that would be a big help. I picked up The Historian by Elizabeth Kostova. I saw this on like one of those bookish listicles, and it was classified as horror, but then when I looked on Goodreads, I don't think it's horror. It seems more like historical fiction. There might be some supernatural elements, but I don't know that it's horror. This is gigantic. I don't know a ton about it, so if you've read this or you know a little bit about this, if you want to help a sister out, it'd be appreciated. The second Margaret Atwood book I bought was The Blind Assassin. I know this is like a dual story, and then it's a story within a story, and this is, one of her more well-known works, so I'm interested to get to this. I didn't realize how long it was when I was flipping through it. As you do when you bring books home, you touch them and flip through them and find homes for them right away. Maybe I'm weird, I don't know. But as I was flipping through this, I noticed that these pages are really thin, because when I looked at it, it didn't seem like that big of a book, but it's over 500 pages. It's just that these pages are really thin. So it'll be interesting to get to this. I've heard a lot of people really love this. Like I said, I've been really meaning to read some Margaret Atwood. So I'm hoping to get to this soon, and hopefully read The Handmaid's Tale before that, Hulu miniseries comes out too. If you hear purring, it's because my cat is in my lap right now. She's just chilling out here. The next book I bought was recommended to me by Liz over at Mountain City Books, and this is Tom Franklin's Crooked Letter, Crooked Letter. I know this takes place, I want to say in the 70s in Mississippi, and it's about 2 boys who were friends growing up. One is a white boy from a lower middle class household, and one is a black boy being raised by a single mother. And when they are teenagers, Larry, who is the white boy, goes on a date with a girl, and he takes her to a drive-in movie, and the girl is never seen or heard from again. But he does not confess to the crime. No one really knows what happened to her, but of course everyone kind of believes it was him. And so he lives in this town. It's been decades, and he's kind of lived with the shadow of all these accusations surrounding this girl. Silas has gone on to become the town constable, and now another girl has gone missing, and so he has to confront his childhood friend about it, and they have to confront all these issues. Liz said a lot of really good things about this. So I'm really excited to read this. The next novel I picked up was Diary by Chuck Palahniuk. I read Invisible Monsters earlier this year, and I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed Chuck Palahniuk's writing style. So this is a story told in diary entries. You know what I mean? Hello, it's called Diary. And it's about a girl who is kind of a down on her luck waitress who used to be an artist. She has recently rediscovered her inspiration, and she has started painting again, and somehow that has landed her in the middle of a very big and dangerous conspiracy. So of course, as usual, that sounds super interesting, and I'm really excited to spend some more time with Chuck Palahniuk again. The next book I picked up was How to Read Literature Like a Professor. This is a lively and entertaining guide to reading between the lines. I had picked up this book before, but I always found it really interesting, and I wanted to own it and have something that I looked back on. Like I said, in college, I didn't take any kind of literature courses, and this is something that just has always really interested me. Of course, I looked ahead, and they did have sections on horror and how, you know, all those supernatural beings are never just those things. Like vampires are usually never just vampires. Ghosts are never just ghosts. Like there's so much more that they mean and they symbolize. And so of course I'm really excited to get into this and read some more about this. The next book I got is like the one that's the most out of my comfort zone. This was one I had added to my TBR like a long time ago. But I had always kind of been interested in, even though the whole YA genre has just really been letting me down a lot. Like every book that I have picked up, I've just been really disappointed in. But I wanted to give this a shot. This is John Connolly's The Book of Lost Things. This is about a boy who has recently lost his mother. He is 13 years old, and he kind of finds solace in fairy tales and his imagination. You know, like I said, I don't want to write off the entire YA center of the bookstore. I know there's gems in there if you look, and this sounded like something that could possibly be a gem, something that has the potential to be, you know, beautiful and poignant, and I am really hoping that that's the case. The next book I picked up was Monsters of Templeton by Lauren Groff. I read Fates and Furies earlier this year. So Fates and Furies was one of those books that when I finished it, I was fairly impressed with it. I think I gave it like 4 stars. But I've found that as time has gone on, it's a book I think about often, and that has apparently made a bit of an impression on me. And because of that, I did want to read more Lauren Groff. So this is her debut novel. This is Monsters of Templeton. I think it is about a college-age girl who was having an affair with her professor, and she is coming home to her childhood home. So I am really looking forward to this and seeing if maybe there's another novel that'll stick with me for a while. The next book I picked up was Evie Wyld's All the Birds Singing. This was a book I saw everywhere for a little bit, but people seem to really enjoy it. I remember Max at Well Done Books said it was like a mix of The Village and Memento, which of course really piqued my interest, and I had to pick it up. I have heard across the board that the writing is absolutely beautiful, so of course I wanted to read this and see for myself. The next book I picked up was also a book that was recommended to me by Liz over at Mountain City Books, and this is Julian Barnes' The Sense of an Ending. I don't know a whole lot about the story. I think it is about an older man looking back on his life, which is a style and a type of story that I really enjoy, kind of a retrospective look back on one's life. It's very small, but I've heard that it, you know, for being this small, it really packs a punch. And I think we have a plan to buddy read this sometime next year. So I'm really excited to do that. The next book I picked up was one I had heard so much about from my good friend, Kate Howe. And this was Jody Smith's I Capture the Castle. She talks about it a lot. It's a book she really loves and holds near and dear to her heart. So I of course wanted to check it out. I think this is a story about a girl whose family lives a semi decrepit, I think decrepit might be like too extreme, but a castle. And she is writing down the story of her family and their adventures, basically living in this castle. And she is trying to capture the castle. I think that is where the title comes from. So Kate and I have a plan to read this. She is going to reread it with me, I think, early next year. So I'm really excited to read this, and I hope it is also a book that I end up holding near and dear to my heart as well. The next book I got was one I had seen a bit of in BookTube kind of recently, which is weird since it was written in the 90s. And this is Midnight in the Garden of Good and Evil. This is like a nonfiction true crime novel about a journalist who goes down to investigate a shooting in Savannah. Of course, this was another book on that list of like literature from the South, so I wanted to read it, number one. Two, it's nonfiction. I know there is also a movie adaptation with John Cusack and Kevin Spacey, so a lot of people have been talking about this recently, and I might actually pick this up for nonfiction November next month, so hopefully I'll be getting to this pretty soon. The last book I picked up was Carlos Ruiz Zafón's Shadow of the Wind. This is one of those books that is like everywhere on BookTube, and a lot of people put this book in their favorites. I don't know a whole lot about it other than everyone loves it, and that it's a book about books, and I think there's like a cemetery of forgotten books. I don't know a whole lot about it, and I think I want to keep it that way. I think I want to go in just fresh and not necessarily untainted, but without any prior knowledge. I just want to go in and experience it all for myself and see if maybe this also finds its way as one of my favorites. And I think it's a series, but I'm not sure. So if you know, let me know if this is a series or if I'm confusing this with something else. So hoping I'll probably get to this sometime next year, but I'm definitely looking forward to it. That's my book haul. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know if you have anything to say about these books, if you've read them, or if you want to read them, or if you know anything about them that you think I might find helpful. I don't know. But again, thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you again soon. Bye!